us back, if you would.
Okay, let's take you back. Okay. Well, before the march, certainly, there were situations on campus about which, most of us were aware. The Old South activities, and from the time I got here, the fall of '66, I think they've kind of toned down the Old South activities where they weren't doing the slave auction and parading through campus with the news, so what do you call it, around somebody's neck with people in blackface, etc. And I think I remember they had some activities over someplace, and I've got, well, it's in the '67 locus. Yes, it's in there where they had their activities, etc. But anyway, so we were aware of that, and then of course John Carlos and I were good friends, and we were aware of what was happening with the African American black athletes, and their problems with some of the coaches, things of this nature. They had like free move, which allowed you to change roommates and what have you, and so. And I guess the concern that was that if we're talking about maybe kind of bringing the campus together, well, if this will work, leave people where they are. That was kind of our thinking, and if we're truly integrating, and then if we're not, well, then you continue this. So anyway, so there were a number of situations then. There were no African American women who worked in the dormitories as house mothers, or whatever they called them at the time. I don't know if they still have them, probably not. But that was that, I guess, a loco parentis kind of thing that was every place. You send your child someplace, and we have people here to take a look out for them. And so so we noticed that, and then of course we noticed there were no black faculty. And the fall of '66, my first year here, I think they had integrated the fall of '65. Pretty much, yeah, about the fall of '65. So anyway, so there were just a number of things, and of course I was somewhat aware of what was going on around the country, and fairness and equality, and coming from a segregated times, moving into an integrated time and setting, that kind of had me on an alert kind of basis, just personally and stuff. So anyway, but I was here to get a degree. And so that was top as far as I was concerned, because my father died just before I started my senior year in high school, and we didn't have any means and whatever. And so I was actually getting an education. So I spent 1 year at Wiley College at Marshall, Texas, when I transferred here to East Texas State. But anyway, so so I was actually studying and preparing for a government test. I don't know if it's constitutional law or whatever. I was preparing for a government test, April 4th of 1968. And so I got a call from a young lady from my hometown named Beverly Williams and stuff. And so she said, "Joe, Dr. King has been killed." And then we're having a meeting over at Smith Hall, and said, come on over, come please. And stuff. So anyway, so I walked out to the Commons, and I was staying at Sykes Hall during the time. I walked out into the Commons, and of course it was on every channel, and that he'd been killed. I was angry and hurt, and whatever the case is, and so I had to decide whether or not to go to the meeting or to prepare for my test and whatever. So I kind of wrestled with that, and then so finally I said, well, I guess I'll go and see what's going on, not knowing what was in the making for me. So anyway, so I walk from Sykes to Smith Hall. They were. I guess I don't know if they're still there or not. But anyway, so I walked from Sykes to Smith Hall, and so when I get into Smith Hall in the lounge area, there were, I would estimate, 100 to 2 black students there. So anyway, so people were crying and sobbing and looking and whatever. So I had a test the next day. I'm focused on getting my degree and stuff. So I waited for some period of time. I forget exactly how long. So finally, angered, I said, "Okay, goddammit." I said, "We've assembled here, and what have you. So yeah, we're going to do something, figure out how we're going to show our respect and our concern at having with Dr. King having been killed. We need to get up out of here." I said, "I have a test tomorrow morning, and I'll be the first one to hit the door." And I said, "What in the hell is it going to be?" I was angry, and you know, at the lack of leadership, at the lack of commitment, at being just lost, you know, etc. And so that angered me. And so, but I spoke and I got my butt in a crack. So anyway, this lady, I'm saying lady now, but the student Felicia Johnson, I think, from Dallas, she said, Joey's right, we're just sitting here, we've been sitting here and whatever. She said, so we need to decide what we're going to do. And I nominate Joe to be the chair. I said, oh, no. I said, no, that's not what I wanted. I just wanted us to decide on something. I said, no. So, and somebody did parliamentary bill said, those in favor of Joe? And I think it was whatever. I don't know if it was unanimous or not. Anyway, so there I was. I said, God, what am I going to do now? You know, but anyway, so from that point in time, there were several students that started working with me. I said, okay, we'll get something lined up and I'll communicate with you. So student, he may have been a junior or senior, maybe a senior, Don Watson's from Tyler. So anyway, he and I were up just about all night getting things lined out and whatever. So we got over to our starting point, back to campus or someplace, whatever. So I had lined things up for speeches and whatsoever. And then so we just proceeded through campus as the pictures indicate, and we came to this point. And then there people spoke and whatsoever, and it just kind of moved from there. And within, if not the same day or the next day, some of the professors that I knew, particularly in social science, social studies, government, poli science, I need to say, pre-law, they were telling us that Mr. Tate said you don't need to organize it. That was excellent. He said there are a lot of problems on campus, and you don't need to organize and whatever. We'll help with whatever cases, you know. So I said, wow, we need to organize. And so anyway, I'm on a roll then, and I don't know where the source of my strength, of my direction, of my intellect was coming, but I was on a roll and whatever. So I started ideating about things, and so we decided to form an organization and stuff. So I worked with the deals and was trying to get everything together so I could present it to the students at another meeting we would have. And so I thought about an acronym that would work, that would say a lot and be significant, you know, for the students and the community. And so I formulated African American Student Society of East Texas State, and of course that was ASSET, and that's where asset came from. And so we moved from there, and then then I was elected to officially serve as president of it, or chairman, whatever you want to call it. So we just kind of moved from there, and then we monitored even more closely activities that were happening regarding our students, and there was always something with my friend John Carlos and the athletic department. Of course, there were athletes that said, oh, everything is fine and there are no problems, and there were black students who didn't go along with our approach. They wanted a more, what I would say, more militant approach. And there's some letters that were sent to the editor from a young man from Chicago. His name was, his last name was Williams. I forget right now. Maybe it'll come to Williams, stuff like that. So anyway, so they were opposed to our approach to some other kinds of things. So anyway, that was it. And then we were on the roll there, and then